Hi, I'm the Flowergod. I'm going to do something a little bit different this time. I'm using 3 different bubble bowls. I fill them up with about 2 inches of water. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use a frog in my main one. I'm not going to put a frog in this one, and I put a small frog in the very top one. I'm going to use some wire, pink snowberries. I'm going to use some roses. I'm going to show you how to tailor those. A few daisies, some barbardia, and some of the different foliages. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take, for my bottom one, I'm going to do the frog. But what I'm going to do is kind of cover it, because it's going to be in a bowl. You don't want to see it. So I'm going to use this. Let me kind of slide this over a little bit. I'm going to use the frog, and I'm just going to push the leaf down over it. This has points, so it'll stab right into the foliage. I'm only going to use about 3 of these leaves, and then I'll use a little bit of bamboo to kind of give it a little different texture. And what this does, it just kind of covers your frog so you don't see it. I'm using some small bamboo, and I'm just going to stick it in and kind of let it lay free form. Now see, I've already got this all set. Now what I'll do, I'll take this and lay it down inside the middle of the bowl. I need one more piece of bamboo, I think, to balance it a little bit. Oops. Okay, now I've got that in. I'm going to add some of the snowberries, and what I'm going to do with these, I'm just going to pull these right off the stem so you have a handful of berries. And these are just going to float. Keep the green foliage off, but let the berries fall. It's going to take quite a few berries to kind of give you a good form in there, kind of give you a little color that's floating. These kind of have a pink cast to it. Kind of get them to float everywhere in your bowl. This is just going to add an accent. Kind of give it a little texture with your different foliage that you've used. And a couple more I think should be fine. Okay, now we're going to go with our rose. Now I've paved a few. I'm going to show you how to open those up. You take, kind of pull the petals back and kind of push into the bottom part of the petal. And what that does, it kind of opens the rose up. Makes it look real pretty. You get to see the finished color when the rose is opened. It's best if you do this at room temperature. Let your roses sit out for a little while. It tends to make the petals softer. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to just make these short. And I'm going to kind of pave these. Whoops, can't get my knife in there. Kind of pave these down low on the frog. Again, I've already paved these, or tailored these. The reason I used the frog, I wanted that to stand up a little bit taller on one of the roses. I'm cleaning all the foliage off to make it a good clean line. What's a little more difficult right here is to try and reach in and stab it into the frog, but you see how it kind of gives you a little character to it. Okay, now we're going to take our second bowl. We're going to go right up on top. Wow, I lucked out on that. The rose isn't even touching the bottom of the bowl. Very close. Okay, now we're going to do pretty much the same thing, but we're just going to lay the roses in on this one. And I'm going to use some of my bamboo. This looks like something you could use at a wedding to balance out with the cake. You know, if you have a tall tiered cake. This kind of gives you that wedding look here. Okay, now probably tailor a couple of these, and we're just going to probably these right in the bowl. And we're just going to cut the stem off real short. You're just going to place them down in there. Take my last one here. I'm just going to put 2 roses in this. I did 3 in the bottom. I'm going to do 2 on this one. And when I get to the top layer, I'll put 1. But I've used a small frog for the top one, so I'm going to do something a little bit different with it. And these will just float just like that. Okay, maybe a few of the berries, snow berries. Kind of give you some contrasting colors in there. Just kind of scatter them all over. Okay, now I'm going to go with my 3rd one. This is going to be my top piece. Now what I'm going to do with this, since I've got the frog in that, I've taken some wire. And this is just going to be my crown on top. I just kind of wrap it around my hand and kind of stretch it, pull it apart. I'll take a few pieces of bamboo, just mainly like the tips mainly. Like that, just so you have just a small piece. And again, I'm just going to lay this in. This is just going to accent it a little bit. Don't want a whole lot because you've got the wire in there. And now put some of the berries in it. A couple more. There we go. Now I'll probably another rose to go on the top. I'm going to put some montbretia. I'm going to have that spraying out of the top. Sometimes tailoring a rose is a little difficult, so you just kind of have to take your time with it. Okay. Cut that off fairly short. Maybe a little bit more. Okay. Now this is just going to go, I'm going to put it right down next to the frog, because I'm going to add the montbretia. Now I'm going to bring a lot of the color kind of flowing out. And this is actually going to go into the frog. Use a couple pieces here. Gives you a real elegant look. And by putting these, since I've got such a small frog, if you kind of put the montbretia, I keep calling this montbretia, it's montbretia. It'll kind of let it hold a little bit better with the smaller frog. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to add another rose to the top so it kind of hold montbretia up a little bit better. Tailor it and I'll put it on the other side. If it doesn't work at first, try something different. I had the look I wanted for, I just couldn't get the balance on it, so I'm going to add this to it. There we go. I was going to use the yellow daisies, but I think with what I have here, the simplicity of it really gives you a good look. So, there you have the classy rose arrangement.